A massive report has just dropped that the Toronto Blue Jays are looking to do something big this offseason. Now, most fans and most reporters have been echoing that sentiment, but this is Jeff Passan. He just dropped an absolute bomb on us. Who knows what the Blue Jays are going to do, but this is a great step in the right direction. So I'll break that down and much more in this episode of Jays Digest. What's up, Jays fans? I'm your host, Peter Vryonis, alongside host Nick Gosse. Now, this was some news that is very welcomed by Blue Jays fans. Jeff Passan has come out with this absolute bomb that the Blue Jays are looking to do something huge in this offseason. He didn't exactly say what it was, but our thoughts, and I'm sure most of you that are watching this video are going to think immediately Ohtani. Bellinger's got to be in the mix as well, but there are some big names out there in the free agency market, some big names on the trade market as well. But I think Passan was more so hinting towards the free agent market. And Nick, this is just great news. I mean, this is all what we were looking for. And it's great to hear it from one of the more trusted sources in the industry.
Yeah, it's the first time this offseason, like you said, an actual major source. You know, there's Nightingales, there's John Morrissey's of the world, then there's Jeff Passan, who doesn't just say things for clicks for their company. But before we get into that, quick reminder, hit the subscribe button. About 70% of you guys who are watching right now are not subscribed, and we're very close to 10,000, and we want to hit that by the end of the month, so make sure to hit that button. And yeah, let's just get right into the report. It dropped. It's from Jeff Passan. There's tons of other stuff in there if you want to go check it. I think you need ESPN+, but he goes out of his way to mention the Blue Jays name, which is something that was interesting and kind of what spurred a lot of Blue Jays Twitter. So it says, of course, perhaps Ohtani is as much a mold breaker for teams as thinking he's a two-way star on the field. And then it goes on to talk about the Cubs, the Giants, players like that. And then it says there at the bottom, the Toronto Blue Jays said a source with knowledge of their plans, quote, want to do something big this winter. Ohtani fits, especially with Bo and Vladdy, due to the free agency after the 2025 season. Now, Peter, we've discussed Ohtani a ton. He went out of his way. He mentioned Ohtani, and he mentioned the Blue Jays. He didn't have to do that. We're among teams like the Cubs and the Giants, so clearly he heard something revolving around the Toronto Blue Jays that they want to do something big, and he hints at Ohtani. That's kind of the big name that we're going to discuss today, but there's also other ways they could swing big. But regarding Ohtani, is it still a long shot? Yeah, but there's a lot more smoke than I expected, to be completely honest with you, Peter, regarding this.
Yeah, exactly. Now, is it going to happen? Most likely not, because let's just call it what it is. Most teams that are contending or trying to contend are going to be in the Ohtani sweepstakes. Now, do the Blue Jays have a better chance than we may have given them a couple of weeks ago? Absolutely. That is exactly what this report is indicating right here. So I'm sure they're going to be in. They're going to try their best. They're going to put their best foot forward to try and land Ohtani. May not happen, but if they strike out on him, there are other options to maybe fill those holes that are left by Kevin Kiermaier, Matt Chapman, and other notable free agents that the Blue Jays are going to be saying goodbye to. So it's a great report. It's a step in the right direction for this Blue Jays team that is looking to do something. I mean, over the past couple of seasons, the reins have been handed over to Bo Bichette, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., and they haven't exactly met expectations. So right now, we're looking at other options to maybe come in and be the guys that we thought Vladdy and Bo were going to be. And Ohtani fits that bill, as does Cody Bellinger, who's another guy that I want to discuss in this video, and I want to get your thoughts on as well, Nick. Cody Bellinger is a guy that would fill a lot of holes for this Blue Jay team. True 5-tool player, can play multiple positions, and definitely someone that fits the bill of versatility and just overall talent that the Blue Jays need.
Yeah, and obviously, when he says big or want to do something big, I mean, automatically assume, Shohei Ohtani. But when you're looking at the bigger picture of things here, Ohtani is probably, who knows how likely it is the Jays get him. But like you said, Bellinger would classify as doing something big. A big blockbuster trade like the Vryonis show last season or last offseason would classify as doing something big. And this kind of just blew up on Twitter, the whole want to do something big thing. Ross Atkins has said this before, and usually when he says this, as much as we all like to hate on Ross Atkins, he's a man of his word when it comes to this. We've seen it with Ryu, Gausman, Springer, and again, we were long shots on all these big free agents, but ultimately we ended up grabbing them. And if you look back, way back to about a week ago, there was different reports about how there's a different budget for the Blue Jays this offseason regarding, signing a unicorn player. Obviously, that's Shohei Ohtani. And this came out from Nightingale 5 days ago, kind of related to the Cody Bellinger thing. And he said the Toronto Blue Jays, who badly need a left-handed bat, have strong interest in Cody Bellinger and will make a strong push for Ohtani. So this is before the Jeff Passan thing. And this is important, especially in regards to Cody Bellinger. Again, there's like 5 different reports from different reporters, some of them more knowledgeable and more credible than others. But when they're all coming together and then Passan kind of wraps it up saying, I want to do something big, I would suspect if they strike out on Shohei Ohtani, they may pay above and beyond for a Cody Bellinger or another player, maybe one of the players from Japan, something like that. But it seems like a move is going to come, and I don't think the Jays, as much as it looked like they were going to run it back coaching staff-wise, which we'll discuss later in this video, I think they're going to make a huge move this offseason because they know as well as we do that this core needs another piece to get them over the top.
Yeah, and Ohtani would be the piece to get them over the top. There's no doubt about that. But for those, and for us included, doubting the legitimacy behind the Ohtani interest, Ohtani himself said that geography is not a question here, and it doesn't matter. He wants to go to an organization that is ready to compete. And if I look at the Blue Jays, if I'm a star free agent, I'm looking at the Blue Jays and saying, these guys are one piece away. They have everything else. They have the pitching, they have the defense in place, but they need one superstar bat. And Ohtani, look at his numbers from last year. He is that superstar bat, as would Cody Bellinger be. But they're going to have to break the bank for him. They're going to have to do it. And as the reports are indicating here, they're ready to go ahead and do that. And it's very encouraging as a Blue Jay fan. Will they get him? Again, probably not, because there are probably 10 other teams in the same position as the Blue Jays that have more geographical, I guess, pull and more money to throw at him. So there's that. But the Jays know what they need, and they need a superstar. Getting another couple of stopgap type players like Kevin Kiermaier or Matt Chapman or whatever, it just doesn't move the needle for this team. They need to do something big. I think they're acknowledging that. The front office is prepared to do that, to make something happen. And if they don't land Ohtani, then they're going to try in other areas to address those needs, because they do need to make something happen, and they need to make a move before it's too late.
And the Ohtani domino is the first major domino to fall, because all the other free agents, like every other sport, will want to wait till their best player signs. You can go for your contracts based on that. And yeah, like you said, that report came out a couple days ago that Ohtani just wants to win first and foremost. Geography doesn't matter, at least isn't his top priority. So the Braves are another name that's being brought in a lot, which is a little bit interesting, a little bit scary if you're a Jays fan hoping for Ohtani. But it really depends how much Rogers wants to pay Shohei Ohtani, because they could pay as much as any other team. It's just a matter of if they actually want to, or if they'd rather invest that $500 million into cell phone development or whatever else they would want to do with that money. But I think ultimately we're going to have to wait and see. I think this happens sooner than we think. I think it'll start to come to fruition. We'll get maybe, the Jays might end up being finalists. I hope we get them, but I would hate to see us be second in the Ohtani sweepstakes, kind of like we were for a couple of the other pitchers we remember back before Ohtani even came to the MLB. Yeah. Any quick final thoughts on this before we wrap up into the next topic, which is a quick coaching update for all you Ross Atkins fans or haters?
Well, I know a lot of the Ross Atkins haters out there are very quick to jump the gun and say the Jays are going to do their due diligence, but probably won't do anything. I think we're past that stage, though. Yeah. I know that Ohtani may be unlikely, but they have to do something. They can't possibly run it back with this same group of players and expect a different result, because they've been trying that year in, year out, and we just haven't seen it come to fruition. So I'm expecting something big. Is it Ohtani? Probably not. I won't hold my breath for that. But something close to that, in a sense. I'm expecting some serious money to be dropped on a free agent, or I'm expecting one of the top prospects to be traded in hopes of getting a star player in return, and kind of building this team from the ground up and really looking to stretch this window out a little bit longer.
Yeah, and it seems Juan Soto is on the market as well, for all you out there who like Juan Soto. We probably won't get him, but throw that out there regarding the prospect thing. We probably don't have the prospects to get him. That might be a conversation for another video. Let's quickly touch on this, Peter. DeMarlo Hale. The Jays have brought back DeMarlo Hale as an associate manager on John Schneider's staff, who was with the team, and we all know the John Gibbons era. And if you're curious about what associate manager's duties are, because I asked Peter the question, none of us really knew. The answer is DeMarlo Hale's duties will include a focus on run prevention, coordination through defense, almost like a fielding version of Don Mattingly's new additional role as an offensive coordinator. We know how Peter feels about Don Mattingly as an offensive coordinator, but Peter, let's quickly focus on the DeMarlo Hale side of things before we wrap up. He's supposedly a phenomenal human, which I'm sure he is. We obviously don't know him, so we don't know that for sure, but from everything we've heard, phenomenal person, seems like a very solid coach. He was at the Guardians last season, and I'm happy to bring him back. I mean, there's no harm in this.
I didn't know the Toronto Blue Jays are getting ready for the Grey Cup this weekend. I didn't know that. Offensive and defensive coordinators, you don't really see that in baseball. But yeah, I mean, get Don Mattingly as far away as possible from the pitching decisions. I guess that's a positive. But having him more involved in the hitting department, not exactly crazy about that. Let's hope another team comes and swoops him in for a manager position. I'm holding my breath for that. But DeMarlo Hale, he was a big character guy when he was here under John Gibbons. I expect nothing less this time around, and he was very excited when he was asked about what are his thoughts on the reunion of him and the Toronto Blue Jays. And truly one of the great guys in the business, and did a great job when he was here. He was the right-hand man for John Gibbons, and I'm expecting him to be the same for John Schneider right here in this upcoming season. I still think it's a little bit too many voices in that dugout. A lot of guys have different opinions in different areas. I don't know how crazy I am about that. Obviously, analytics play a big part in today's game, much more than they did in 2015, 2016 when DeMarlo Hale was at the center of all the Blue Jays operations there. But look, it's the way that the game is moving right now. The game right now requires big-time analytics. They require a lot of different voices and a lot of fingerprints on certain decisions that are made. So I'm expecting nothing less from DeMarlo Hale. I could think of a lot worse people to be in his position. So I'm happy that he's brought back here. I think he's going to have a much bigger impact on this team than some people may suspect. And I'm looking forward to it. He's a great character guy to have in that locker room.
Yeah, and the Guardians, from what I've heard, are pretty analytically advanced in the sense of how they use them, so I'm sure DeMarlo Hale will be familiar with all that as Ross Atkins deploys that on him. But all jokes aside, that'll wrap up the video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope Shohei Ohtani will become a Toronto Blue Jay. The hopes are getting up there more day and day, because right in the season ended, we were like, there's no chance, and then each day there's more and more reports coming out, but maybe we'll end up just being used for leverage. But that'll wrap up the video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll see you tomorrow.